Hey Vic, you want to tell these people what the heck we're doing here, buddy? This thing's starting to get kind of heavy. What are you talking about? That's sim fuel. How can it even weigh anything? Man, I don't know. They just gave me a job to do and I'm doing it. Now, would you turn around and tell these fine folks what the heck we're doing here, please? Yeah, good point. Welcome, everyone, to whatever the heck this is. Today we're going to be looking at highlights from our team's last season's FIA Manufacturer series. We're going to find out if we have jobs next season and who we're going to be working for. And then we're going to take a look at the cars, the rig, and we're going to visit Sim Austria for a practice qualifying hot lap of the Red Bull Rig short track. How'd I do? Man, that was great, Vic. You did a great job, buddy. Thank you. And without further ado, we'll send it over to our driver.
Thank you, pit crew, for that fine introduction. Greetings, folks. I'm Ryan, your host and driver, also known as sleepTerror on the PlayStation Network. Here we are. We're looking at the final standings of the FIA Manufacturer series last season, hosted on Gran Turismo Sport. We played a numbers game, tried to race smart. It was my straight to the bottom of the top campaign, as I call it. We did well enough to place third overall in North America for Subaru, and earned us the coveted S rank driver. So I figured let's have some fun, make some videos documenting last season, and follow along this season and see how we can do. First race is at Tsukuba, and at this point we were in maybe middle to the top of B rank. Took me a while to get through the middle of B rank. Just wasn't very consistent. A lot of bottling it, a lot of good races. But once we crossed through that threshold, the racing cleaned up a lot, and I seemed to learn quicker amongst better other drivers. There we are in fourth position. We qualified in fourth, which I was feeling pretty happy about. I'm not usually that great of a qualifier. I'm a better race pace. Although we'll see in this race, that didn't exactly pan out. I would say this is a low light of the season, as we are about to see. So, near the top of B group, we see a lot of the same racers over and over. We kind of get into a little community of drivers, so you kind of get used to how people drive. Here we go on our fast lap of this race, lap 26. This is in the Group 3 Subaru car. This is a rear-wheel drive car. I initially went to Subaru because I really enjoyed driving the Group 4 all-wheel drive car. I found it easy to drive. It took me a little while to learn how to handle the rear-wheel drive cars. The Subaru is really light in the back end, and being fairly new to sim racing, I had a lot to learn in regards to how to keep the car on the track and not drive myself off of it. If you're unfamiliar with Gran Turismo Sport, there's a lot of racing. There's also a lot of strategy. As you can see on the right-hand side of the screen there, the 4 bars represent when we pitted to take on fuel to the tire compounds that are required for each different race. Here we're on the softs, which is why we're placing our hot lap for this race. And as we come up the main straight, we can see that Rolling with GTSport is coming out of the pit, probably on soft tires, and we get undone for 7th place. Not really happy about that. He's going to be on colder tires. I want to get by as soon as possible. I get a little desperate here. Try it. These are moves I don't try anymore. Just a bad lunge up the inside. We're going to let off the gas a little bit, let him go. Since we made contact, that was not exactly great sportsmanship to even go for that move. Here we jump ahead to lap 33, and this is a warning of what is to come. Our pit strategy put us on the soft tires, maybe a couple laps too long. We had a little spin there. As you see, we jump ahead to just the very next lap at the same point. Still following Rolling with GTSport. He's walking out on us a little bit as his tires warm up and get into more of a prime condition. Coming out of this corner, we're going to dip just a bit in the grass and lose it. Trying to come back on the track, we're going to lose it again. And now we're just getting undone by multiple people. We're from 7th down to 10th already. Trying to get the car going again. Now we have dirty tires. We get undone for 2 more positions. Really not ideal, but it happens. You just got to get your head back down. Try to put in some clean laps and salvage whatever you can. So as our tires are still kind of dirty, we're getting, and very worn, as you can see on the bottom left side of the screen there. We're getting a lot of scrub, and the corners. It's hard to maintain our apex speed. Here comes deadlock mode up behind us. This is another racer we race with a good bit in this class. And as we go around the track, I'm not sure if deadlock mode, you can see he's kind of jumping around in the rear view there. I'm not sure if he had some lag or if this is just a, sometimes the replays will do this. But as we come into this corner, with just a couple laps to go, we're going to get punted from the rear. That also happens. People misjudge their braking points. I get undone again for 2 more positions. Can't get the grip down. The tires are super dirty and super warm, and worn rather. And now we have the intention from behind. And we go to the outside, let him through on the inside. Try to get our speed back up. You can see the cars just sliding all over the place. And now we're going to get pressed up on yet again. This race was just, at this point, I'm looking to see if he's coming alongside. Boy, he's right there. It doesn't take long. Just to add insult to injury, this is the end of that lap. We're going to move to the inside, try to defend, and hold our 13th position here. Just didn't do a good enough job maintaining pace, and insult to injury, we get undone on the outside of the final corner to finish in 14th. We were on 4th. We qualified in 4th. We dropped 10 positions. Not ideal. You can see just how quickly it can go bad. The tires get worn, you get a little flustered, you get pressure from other drivers. But we'll just have to try better on the next race. So we head to France. We go to Alsace, which is a track I love. Let's see if we can do a little bit better here. So joining the grid, you can see we're going to be near the top of the grid on this one. I believe we're in 3rd. Again, a lot of the same racers that we're going to see in all these races. You tend to get in a group as your rank kind of matches. We're going to run through the grid here. Stock car racer. Our friend Reevesberger there. We're going to be joining on his car camera in the next race for some highlights. Definite highlights. This race, we're going to jump ahead here just to the first lap. We're getting some pressure from Quali's from the rear. It's still kind of early here, so I got the elbows out, a little tiny bump there. I'm going to take the outside line here, try to maintain as much speed as I can, and then move back over the left of the racing line. I love this corner. I know he's not going to take me here. Although, to be fair to him, he gets a great run. I can see it as he's disappeared from my rear mirror. I'm looking to see where he's at. I do not want to be side by side in this corner. It's still early. We just want to get away from the pack, so I'll just slot in behind him, rejoin, catch his slipstream, and press on. We're going to fast forward ahead again to our fast lap of this race, which was lap 12. I really love driving the Group 4 Subaru here. We're in the Group 4 car. You kind of just chuck it into the corners, try to rev match as well as you can, and the grip in this car around here, to me, is just immense. It's pretty technical, this first corner, to get right, and it's a very important corner as you're entering on one of the longer, straight, and flat-out sections of this track. Up the hill here, which is why your exit speed is so important. Some long corners, some short, tight corners, good mix. This is another difficult corner to get just right. The apex is a little bit late. It gets really slippery right here. There's a lot of marbling or pieces of tire that sit on that outside edge of that corner. Another long corner, apex about right in the middle, take it all the way to the outside. This is my favorite corner on the track. This is when you can really chuck it in, down a couple gears. We didn't actually get it that great on our fast lap there, a little bit wide. Just come around and staring into the sun. Weather's not too bad. The time of day the races are changes, so you have varying conditions a little bit. Sometimes there's a lot of glare. Thankfully, that wasn't the case here. This is nearly a flat-out corner. You can see I go up there on the marbles just a little bit and come back down for that late apex. I like to play with the undulation of the track there. I feel like my experience with BMX. It's taught me a little bit about how physics, it's taught me a lot about physics and grip, how weight shifts over undulations, which I can tell helps me in races. Yet again, another hard left-hander to get right. If you bump that guardrail on the inside, you get thrown wide to the right there into the other guardrail and you pick up a penalty. You can see we just dipped 2 tires into the dirt there. Back down the hill for the final chicane. Another corner, we can just chuck it in, just try to manage the revs and keep grip on the car. Accelerate out as soon as you can, hugging that wall. And we put around the track there nearly 2 minutes flat, which I feel like was pretty good there. And thankfully, we also get out ahead of 3 cars that are leaving the pit lane here, which we've done well to do so that we're not held up in the corners by traffic on cold tires. The Group 4 Subaru has for me at least in my style of driving, has a high apex corner speed, so when there's traffic, we can slow you down considerably. Fast forward to the end of the race, it all went very well. We're going to come through in 2nd place for one of our best finishes so far of the season. 107 points or so, I believe, which is a welcome change to how the last race finished. Right. We continue on. Next, we're going to Japan for Fuji. This race was great. A lot of highlights here, a lot of really kind of spectacular moves. As you'll see here, we join the grid. In this race, you can see the grid's moving pretty quick. We are well down the order. We did not qualify well here. Sometimes you come out in traffic, you get held up. You have to do an out lap and kind of warm your tires up, and then you can do your flying lap. So if you mess up your flying lap, you may only have enough time to try another out lap and get a hot lap in. It's kind of a limited window. And we didn't do very good this time, so we're in 18th, way at the back of the grid. Sometimes that alleviates the pressure though. So here you can see the end of lap 1 as we come through the final corner to start lap 2. It's really gonna bunch up here, and we get a little bump from behind, tuck in the slipstream. I mentioned a little bit ago our friend Reevesberger, who we race with a lot. I've had a lot of great racing with Reevesberger. He's got great sportsmanship, and he's pretty dang quick. We're going to grab his slipstream, shoot up along the right side here. And then this will be the move of the season for me. We're on medium tires. All these cars ahead are on softs. Late braking, move to the inside. No contact made. 3 people in 1 corner. That really set me up well and gave me some good momentum. Let's go back here. We're going to jump on Reevesberger's hood here and get the view from his angle. You can see here I'm going by on his right-hand side. So 4 wide turn 1 Fuji is something that is pretty rare. We can also watch here deadlock mode. It's done really well here. He's pinned in between 2 other drivers. He's also going to undo 3 people in this corner, myself being one of them, as he gets a pretty good run out of this straight. He's going to be on my inside coming up the next. You can see he's got a 3-second penalty there. It's kind of just how the game works. Unfortunately, the penalty system isn't all that accurate. I didn't see anything there he did to really deserve that, but sometimes the contact that just happens as you go through a corner can do that. But he's got a pretty good run out, which should help. Okay, we're going to jump over to lap 5. Coming up on accelerate to pass here. This time we're going to find ourselves on the outside of turn 1. We're going to try to set it around the outside, move to the follow view so we can see. Leave him a little room on the inside, and I could have got on the power earlier there, but I was a little bit worried. As you can see, Herbalist Dave there. It's an easy place to have the back end step out and lose the car. So just slot back in behind. Next lap, we're still behind. We still got the slipstream. We're going to try the same thing. He's going to hold left this time, and I'm just going to come up straight behind him to put on some mental pressure to see if he makes an error that I can capitalize on. There he goes, just a little wide. Slot through cleanly. Check our rear view, make sure that we're not going to get attacked in the following corner, and continue on. In 9th place. We're up 9 positions. I'm feeling pretty good about having that momentum. As we fast forward here, we're going to jump all the way up to lap 18, I believe, for our fast lap of this race. Lap 19 will be. You can see we're just grabbing any whiff of a slipstream that we can get off of JD as he heads into the pits. So remain in 8th place. Really fast entry to this corner, getting your braking point just right, getting the car turned in, and then again on this exit, making sure that you get grip. It's easy to lose it there. Once you're through to this point, again, it's flat out. This corner, fairly easy, kind of just a drop shift and a flick. Get back on the power to maintain traction in the tires. This is a long sweeping right-hander. You kind of take it out towards the middle. Well, I do anyway. And then let off the accelerator a little bit, come back to the right for another drop of a couple gears and flick to the left. Another place is kind of easy to lose the car. Going wide there helps get onto those curbs for some additional traction. Kind of a similar turn to the turn 2 go. Kind of a long, vague right-hander into the chicane, getting this braking point and not unsettling the car on these curbs. The Group 4 car, the Subaru, you can throw over any curb. It loves it. The Group 3 car, not so much. It really unsettles it, again, with that lighter rear end. This corner is a tricky one to get right. There's marbles everywhere. There's a lot of different lines through here. Just trying to take kind of a basic clean line there. We know we're on a fast lap. We've seen that we've set a purple sector, not a purple, or a green, which is our personal best. As we come out the exit, thankfully keep the back end in check, this time anyway. Back down this very long straight again. Looking behind to see what kind of pressure we're dealing with here. Not much at all, and we set a 139.264. You can see our consistency is pretty good here. The first stint of the race as well, a lot of 139s. And then fast forward to the end of the race, and we were able to maintain 8th. I see a little drama going on back there. We held our 8th place there, up 10 positions. Very, very pleased with that. Oh, that's a good sound. That is a good sound. All right, final race highlight of that season. We're going to head to Spain for the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya, which is another difficult track. I found it to be difficult anyway. There's a couple very tricky corners, the last chicane being one of them. Here we join the grid, flying down the order again. How far back are we this time? Obviously didn't have that great of a qualifying. There we are, 11th place. Okay, middle of the pack. This is trouble. Being in the middle of the pack, can be kind of difficult. A lot of elbows out, a lot of bumping. It's easy to get thrown off early in the race. So we'll just try to stay as clean as we can and see how we can finish here. We'll jump to lap 2 as we enter the first corner. We can see Cinema 2020 there has misjudged the braking point a little bit and he's gone off. Very clean rejoin though. We know he's going to have dirty tires, but we're going to be a little flustered, so slightly push up to his inside here. We got the run on this inside corner. Take a look, just see where he's at. He's going to slot right in behind. He just wants to maintain, I'm guessing, not lose any more positions. Grab my slipstream, see if we can jump back up on this pack ahead. And we'll fast forward to our fast lap of this race, which was lap 8. Entering the final chicane, really tricky to get right this. Oh, this is not the fast lap. Oh yeah, we had an off there. We were in 5th position. Very quick rejoin. I was really actually happy with how quick I was able to get back on track and get the traction down and get my speed back up. And try to keep aperture grills in our rear view mirror. Had a lot of great racing with aperture grills as well. Here we go. Now we're entering our fast lap of this race. Through that final chicane, through the final corner, good exit speed, and the hot lap. Another long straight, similar to Fuji. The first kind of the beginning of these tracks are kind of similar, although in this one it's not a hairpin in the first corner, kind of thrown into some sweeping S's. Real important to get your braking point right there. I missed it a little bit, sent that a little wide. Come up along this long right-hander, throttle modulation, trying to keep a consistent arc through that curve is how I maintain as much speed as possible. Up here to the right-hander brake just at the bridge, another one you kind of drop it a couple gears, chuck it in, wait to get traction, power out. On the chase here, a bad dad. Come with the left-hander, push out to the right-hand side a little bit. Another tricky section up ahead here of some S's. The entry speed on this first corner being the most important. Get that pretty good. This is probably why the lap was our fastest of this race. You can see we set a fast lap last lap also there on the right hand side. The blue denotes our personal best lap. Down to the left hairpin. Again, braking points. Hard to keep traction there. Another little S section, more throttle modulation to keep the car from slipping out too far to the right. A lot of patience. And then into this again, technical right-hander. That curb will definitely unsettle the car. Kind of use the curbs here a little bit to rotate the car, but they can also bite you really bad. Through there clean that time, kept the traction, power out early, and we're going to come around to set our fastest lap of the whole race, a 1:45.750. We continue on trying to chase down. Well, we're going to fast forward here to chase down Bad Dad yet again after some maneuvering in the pits. So we have the slipstream here coming down the first straight. We're going to move to the outside to take the racing line. He's going to follow suit. Too far back there to go for any kind of move, particularly into that corner. Again, nailing that entry pretty well in that second corner. Being patient. Once you get in someone's slipstream, I try to just calm down a little bit. There's going to be opportunities once you're in that stream to make a pass. And we're pretty late in the race here. It feels terrible to make an ugly move that undoes yours and someone else's race. So by this point in the season, learned a little more to be patient, practicing racecraft. You can see we pulled up along the back end of him though, mostly on the braking into the entry into corners. He goes a little wide there. I'm going to miss that cone. The cones are filled with cement for some reason. When you hit them, they can actually slow the car down. Again, now we're getting up there. He's going to stay to the left-hand side and defend for the left-hand hairpin. So we're going to move all the way over and take the racing line. I probably should have held him to the inside a little more there. Just wanted to make sure I get a good extra speed. Coming out of that corner, could have maybe tried to move there, but not likely. Then unfortunately, really slammed into him there. So again, we're going to let off. Anytime I hit someone like that, I like to let off well enough to give them a run so I can't pass them again soon. A lot of guys will let off and then leave the person they've hit ahead, but stay in the slipstream and then just pass them a corner or two later, which I feel like is still not proper sportsmanship. So here we are, still in the slipstream. It's the final lap. I didn't want to give it up, but we're not going to go by anytime soon. We're going to try to see if we can line up another move at some point during this lap, just inside the slipstream there. Entering the first corner, again, moving up on him pretty good in the braking zone. Just trying to get our entry there, was a little wide. Patient on the throttle here. Trying to keep traction down again. I've said it before, I'm repeating myself, this is kind of what you do when you're racing. Little early brake there to make sure we get a good entrance. This is where we tried to do it last time coming out of here. Now I'm going to just go around the outside on this corner. Try to hold him narrow, put him off his racing line a little bit. Coming up into some of the sweeping corners. Making sure we want to get a good entry here. I send it a little deep, he sends it even deeper. It's going to give us the run we need with just a few corners left to go. I was catching Bad Dad fairly easily, and I didn't feel overly fast, so I wasn't sure if his tires were going off or maybe he was having fuel issues. Here we go to left-hander. I'm going to just take it really cautiously, keep that inside line. There's no way he's going around on the outside on this next corner. And now we just got to play some heavy defense and keep him behind us. So we're going to stay on the inside here. Might have left a little window here, but he doesn't take it coming into the final chicane. I'm going to really park it here in this apex. Make sure I don't get too loose on the curbs. You get a bump from behind, thrown off. Bad Dad goes through. We get undone again by someone else. And in watching the replay, I thought bad dad had let me through there, but he's run out of fuel. So he was having fuel issues. It can be really difficult to try to get to the end of a race when you know you're running out of fuel. You're just trying to maintain momentum. Trinkov comes through with that drama on the last chicane for a 7th position, so good on them for being prepared to make a move. Always feels good to make a move towards the end of the race. And that concludes our highlights of the season. So it's time to pick another manufacturer for the upcoming season. Every season I've thought about changing cars. I think, what do I really want to drive? If I could choose anything, maybe it's time to drive something that fits, a little more my spirit. And unfortunately, Pontiac doesn't have a race team. And at the end of the day, all the experience I've had in the Subaru, and now being S-rank for the season and wanting to do well, I'm trying hard for sure. That's the livery, the Copenhagen long cut livery from season 1 before the Karaka and Gren livery. I think we're going to just stick it out with Subaru. So here we go. New season starts tomorrow. I had yet to choose a manufacturer. I was testing some other cars, but we're going to go with Subaru yet again. Maybe the final season for Subaru. We'll see. I was talking with another driver, Zach. We were kind of talking back and forth about the manufacturers we were liking. And he mentioned somebody he might be going with this season. I kind of wanted to do the same thing. Maybe we'll do that next season. Here you can see we've signed our actual FIA digital contract with Subaru for the race season. That's Tom, I guess. I don't know. Right. But we don't leave the cars looking that way. In Gran Turismo Sport, there's a livery editor, which you can add custom graphics. Me being a designer, I like having fun with this, doing some sacrilegious things to a P400 here, as you can see. But we're going to change the livery on both of the Subaru cars for this race season. So here's the Group 3 car. We go with our Black Dahlia Murder Verminous livery in green. A little more understated than our Group 4 livery, which I've spent a lot of time on. Here we come over to the Group 4 car and throw on a livery we've spent a lot of time editing and designing, which is our Karaka and Gren, which is a Swedish black metal band that I adore. Very theatrical, horror-based. So you can see we've got a lot of graphics on this car, and this is the 4th version of this livery that we've had. Fairly unique and recognizable. It's kind of become our trademark, I feel like, in the FIA races. Let's jump over and take a look at the sim rig. People like to see people's sim rig. There we go. Beautiful. That's a 2017 Lazy Boy in the pre-soiled colorway. Right, so here we're looking at round 1 of this upcoming season, which starts tomorrow. We're going to jump in the car quick for a practice qualifying lap, and then we'll finish off the video with walk-arounds at Red Bull Ring Short Track in Austria. This should be a very action-packed race, being a short track. There's going to be a lot of traffic. So I've been working on my qualifying time. Here we go then. This first corner is a really big part of the fast lap on this track. Maximizing your apex speed. It's paramount. It's a very easy track to get penalties on as well. I spent some time trying to dissect exactly where the track limits were to see where I could hurry up my sets. Very patient on the entry to that corner, waiting to get the power down, and then getting it down as early as possible. Really sweeping out sections, maximizing the curves. This is my favorite section of the track, I'd say. We're in the Group 4 car again, all-wheel drive, so we can just chuck this thing in, slip the car a bit, and try to gain traction and throttle down early for a flying lap. It's going to be important to do. Easy to get the penalty. There you can see on the very final corner, we run just a little bit wide and pick up a half a second penalty. That's about our race pace. That's about as quick as, not our race pace, our qualifying pace. It's about as quick as we're going. Take a look here, just running a little wide, just onto the green there. Got a second penalty. So we're going to try to not get penalties in the race. I think that'll help greatly. So here we are then. This is the end of the video. Thank you if you've made it this far. I really appreciate it. and we're going to do a quick walk around of the Red Bull Ring short track in Germany, or in Spain, rather. Nope, it's in Austria. Thanks again for joining me. I hope you have a great day. I hope you're all staying safe, and I hope you're healthy. Take care.